and welcome back to Claire's Clues. On today's video, we'll be talking about Failing Forward by John.C.Maxwell. See, this book is all about failure and how to be okay with it, how to make friends with it and overcome adversities. So he says failure is really just a matter of pride. We only feel like we've failed because our ego's been bruised or our pride's been hurt, whatever it might be. You'll find that that is the only reason why people give up. So realise that there is one major difference between average people and achieving people. And the difference is that average people, when met with failure and adversities, tend to just pack up their things and go home. They don't want to deal with the struggles or the problems that failure might bring because they don't want to feel like they are a failure themselves. They want to feel like, yes, I am the person. I am number one. And if they can't feel that way, they're not going to do it. Although you'll find that achieving people, even though they may feel that way, know that if they push through that failure, if they push through that adversity, that on the other side, at the other end of all of this, they will be number one. They will be the one person that majority of people can never become because they don't want to put in the effort. They don't want to learn how to be okay with failure and overcome adversities. So here's what you can do. Change your attitude. Change your mindset and not your circumstances. Because what you'll find is that by changing your circumstances, it's not going to change your outcome. By changing your mindset though, you'll find that the way you deal with failure and the way you greet it is so much different to the way someone else of an average status would greet it. Someone of an average status would greet it and say, no thanks, not for me, I don't want to feel like I failed anything. But while you'll find achieving people will be greeting failure and saying, all right, so this is something I failed at, but it doesn't make me a failure. Therefore, I'm going to find another way to do this. I'm going to keep pushing through and I will become the person I know I can be. So here's what we can do. Learn from each mistake. Whatever mistakes you have made so far, move on from them because we can't change the past. But whatever mistakes you are to make in the future, what we can do is learn from those mistakes. We can start learning and understanding that those mistakes were just that, mistakes. They are not something that will stop us deadpan in our tracks and make us not go forward. These are things that we can learn from and understand how not to replicate the same situation, how to change the way we do things and get a better result. So keep the bigger picture in mind. Understand that you are trying to achieve a goal, not necessarily that you are trying to achieve just this little task, because that little task is a small part of the big picture. And that big picture only occurs when you take multiple little parts and put them together. So when you are met with failure or adversity, you'll find that if you push through it and if you overcome it and you keep the big picture in mind, that you'll find you'll make your way through all of this struggle and through all the pain, only to get to the other end where there is success, where there is happiness, where you will find what it is you're looking for. So let me put it like this. Entrepreneurs, they fail 3.8 times on average before they succeed at getting a business off the ground. That's pretty big in consideration to what they do succeed at. So failing 3.8 times, it's a lot. But consider this, if they didn't fail those 3.8 times, they would not make it to their status. They would not make it to their goal, their dreams, or the things that they have today. They would not have all of that. Simply because they never met failure and greeted it and said, all right, this is one way, I'm not going to do it. There are 10 other ways that I can. So understand this, there's 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, but it's still 1 step forward. Because no matter what, those 3 steps, even though you're going forward and you end up taking 2 back, you've still made progress. You're still 1 step forward, 1 step ahead. And that will always put you ahead of the majority of people in life. So it's the little wins, guys. It's the little things that add up to the big picture. Keep that in mind. Number 2, guys, he talks about learn a new definition of failure. Understand that there is always a different way to look at things. That we can always change our mindset and our opinion or belief towards something. So failure is a big one. People see failure as something as they can't change it. If you failed, you therefore cannot do something. Which is not true. If you fail at something, it's just one way you've failed. Again, there are 10, 100, 1,000 other ways to do exactly what it is you want, just in a different manner. Just take a different step or approach to everything you do. Because yes, you will fail time and time again, but if you don't fail, you won't find ways to succeed either. So understand this, guys. You are not a failure. You might have failed at something in particular, but that doesn't make you a failure as a person. Because you will find even successful people fail. Even those great at their job, even those that have been doing what they do for their life or 10 years or whatever it might be, as educated as they may seem, you'll find that they will always make mistakes, they will make failures, and the thing is, the difference being is that they don't give up, they don't stop there, because they know that past that failure is still success. They are still a successful person, you are still a wholehearted good person. Failure does not change who you are, and it doesn't change what you're capable of doing. It just means that you've found one way that something doesn't work, which means there's 100 other ways that you can make it work. So be the complete sum of your thoughts, basically. Understand that if you can think it, you can do it, no matter what it is. So think that failure is just another way to overcome whatever it is you're looking to do. Another way to get past an obstacle to achieve your goal. Because nothing can get in your way, not even failure. Do not link this word to bad feelings or bad thoughts, because it's not bad at all. Failure is something we all have to go through, something we all feel, something we all understand. But know this, if we don't fail, we can't succeed either. We need to fail time and time again. Just like a baby, when a baby takes its first steps, it doesn't stand up and start running straight away. It doesn't start, from the day it's born, it doesn't start walking. No, this baby has to learn how to crawl first. Before that, it even needs to learn how to be on its hands and knees. It needs to know the basics. And therefore, every time it'll try, and it'll keep trying, try again. And it will fail multiple times before it starts succeeding, before it can start taking its first steps. But remember, when a baby takes its first steps, it's the most significant thing to a lot of people. Because those first steps mean you're on your pathway to success. This baby's on its pathway to being able to run now. It can now walk, take its first steps, but then after that, the sky's the limit. This baby, it could be anything, anyone. It's unlimited. It's uncapped. There is unlimited potential for this child. So understand that, guys. You are the sum of your thoughts, and understand that there is no such thing as real failure. Number 3, guys, he talks about how remove you from failure. Remove yourself from the situation. Remove you from whatever it is that you think you failed at. Because once you remove yourself from the situation, you'll find that when you look at the big picture of what's really gone on, is that you can eliminate the fact that it was one thing that happened, and then you understand that one thing, all right, when I do it again, I'm not going to do that one thing that I did there. The one thing that caused me to fail here will not be the reason that I fail this time. Although you might find there might be other reasons that you will fail, it means that every time that you do, you find ways to find success faster. So he also talks about how the pain of failure leads to the fear of failure. So this creating an inaction due to fear. Don't be fearful of failing. Understand that failure is inevitable. We will all fail at some point in life at something that we do, whether it's a hobby that we're invested in, or work, or a business, or even our families. We all fail at some point, even ourselves. But the thing is from failure, we can only grow. We can only get better because we understand where we went wrong. And that way we can move on and get through whatever it is that we failed at in the first place. Number 4, guys, he talks about take action and reduce fear. So no matter how fearful you are, always start taking action. Always dive straight in, because the minute you freeze, you'll find that you will put off whatever it is that you were scared to do. Sorry, guys. So don't wait. Don't put it off. Don't be fearful of failing. Instead, jump right in. Be ready and willing to fail. Make failure your friend, guys, because this way you'll find you will be far more comfortable with failing time and time and time again until you reach your goal, until you get to that success. Whatever it might be for you, you'll find that put aside your fear and you will make it anywhere in the world. You can be anything. All right, guys, and number 5, last but not least, he says, say goodbye to yesterday and change yourself. Forget all the things that happened yesterday. Forget the things in your past. Do not worry about them because you cannot change them. The only thing that you can change now, guys, is right here, right now, and the actions that you'll be taking from here on out. The feeling and the thoughts that you have, the ones that you create, the ones that you acknowledge, all these things will add up, and you can have control over all of it. So that means you have control of the outcome. Your circumstances might not change, but your mindset can. Your view on life, your look towards things, all this can be altered. And you'll find that by altering your mindset and your thought towards failing and the way you do things, is that you'll find you'll start taking steps to a journey that you never thought might have been possible. You'll start doing things and see yourself creating a life that you might have only ever dreamed of. All right, guys, so work on your strengths, for last but not least. Work on your strengths and acknowledge your weaknesses. Once you start working on your strengths and acknowledging your weaknesses, you'll find that you will be better off. You'll start doing things that you never thought were capable of. All right, so I'll summarize all this really quickly for you guys. Number one, he talks about realize that there is one major difference between average people and poor people, and that is their outview on failure. That is their friendship with failure. Average people generally pack up, go home, and achieving people generally are quite happy to go through adversity and face their fears, face all their failures, and know that this is just one way, it doesn't work. I have 1,000 other ways that I can try this. Number two, he talks about learn a new definition of failure. Because so long as we're tying failure to fear, so long as we tie it to negative connotations and thoughts, you'll find that you will not move past it. You will not get to your goal because you'll be stuck in your way of, yes, but if I do this, I'll fail and then I'll be a failure and I won't look good to anyone and I won't sound great and no one will appreciate me for what I do. Forget it. Because without failure, you're not going to be the person that people look to. Without failure, you're not going to be the person that you want to admire. Number three, guys, he says, remove you from failure. Do not put yourself in the situation where you focus on yourself when you fail. Because when you're doing this, you're finding that you're blaming yourself for the failure. You're putting all the failure that has happened on you, which instead it's not. Whatever it is that you have done might have failed, but you yourself are not a failure. Number four, it says take action and reduce your fears. So no matter what, no matter how scared of failing you are, understand that we all fail. We will all do it. Babies do it, grown-ups do it, the elderly even do it. We all go through failure. And understand that through failure is success. At the end of all of this, no matter how much pain we have to go through, no matter how many adversities we have to put up with or get past, you'll find that at the end of it, you will be a far better off person. And five, so last but not least on that one, he says, say goodbye to yesterday. Forget your past, leave it behind, and change yourself. Change your thoughts, your feelings, and the way you believe that you can do things. Put belief into yourself and understand that we are all capable of amazing things. But the only thing is that we are our only obstacles in life, so we are responsible for all our outcomes. Therefore, we are responsible for changing the way things happen. All right, guys, I'll leave it with that for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll be making a lot more of these videos for this training series and for your personal development goals. But until next time, please leave a comment below on what you like the most. And I look forward to seeing you next time in Claire's Clues.